Hello, this is Anthony McAvaney, welcoming you back to part 2 of our 6-part series on how to develop a sustainable consulting business. In this session, we're going to look quite closely and in some depth at who your customer is and why it is so critical that you have clarity about this. So start with your ideal client. So in an ideal world, what would be the type of person in an organization that you see that you're a perfect match for, that your product is a perfect match for? And one way to begin to do this, and a recommended way, is to develop a profile of them, again, of your ideal client. So instead of trying to be all things to all people, we're developing laser-like focus about who exactly it is that you're talking to and developing some understanding of what their needs might be like. Now, this is called developing a profile, or sometimes it's referred to your customer avatar. What does the customer look like? So the terms and the things to evaluate there are quite self-explanatory, and I'll be providing you with a worksheet to help you to go through some of these things. But having a clear concept about the age of the person, is there a particular age group of audience that you see you want to talk to and that is best suited to the type of product or service that you're offering? Is your product or service gender specific, or is it for either gender? Have you thought about the person's marital status and family status and the type of needs that might go along with those particular areas of responsibility? What about the type of employment, the industry, the job role that they're working in, and also the level of responsibility that they have? Also, what sort of income are they on? Where do they live? What would their interest be outside their work? And finally, where do you consider that these people would actually hang out online, which of course would begin to influence how you market to that person. So something just to consider here is that you may have more than one avatar for your product, but I strongly recommend that you complete the exercise for each of those sorts of segments or niches that you can identify who could have a need for your product or service. So, for example, one of your avatars could be a person in late career, maybe the sort of the 50-plus person. Their family status perhaps will have changed just purely through passage of time. Their employment preferences, even the sort of work they're doing, may have also changed. And if you contrast that with somebody, and if your product suits somebody in their mid-30s or perhaps early 40s, I think you can appreciate that the needs, the life cycle needs, will differ according to just some of those basic areas like age group, family responsibility, level of responsibility, or even income. So I recommend that you complete a separate worksheet for each of the avatars that you think you could potentially market to. And again, a further recommendation that once you begin marketing, pick one avatar to begin the initial marketing process with. So why is this so important to spend so much time thinking about who your customer is and what their needs are? It's going to influence a lot of things in your digital strategy. First of all, product creation. What solution is that customer actually looking for that you have in your bag of tricks? In terms of the content that you're going to put together related to the product, what blog posts, videos, podcasts, lead magnets, which is a term that you may not be familiar yet, but we'll spend some time on that a little later in this series. What items should you create to attract those potential buyers and then convert those initial leads into sales? If you're going down the path of doing paid traffic, which platform should you buy traffic from? And what targeting options should you use? Also, in terms of copywriting, how will you describe your offers in email marketing, in the adverts that you put together, or sales letters in a way that compels your customers to buy? And finally, email marketing. Which customer avatar should receive which specific email marketing campaign? And again, to reinforce the point, different avatars will have different needs and respond to different messages. So having clarity about that is critically important for all of those things that we've just looked at. It influences a heck of a lot of work that you're going to need to do. But this is literally step one. Who is your client? Do you have total clarity around that? And what are their needs likely to be? How are you going to reach them? What we'll look at next then, having done that, that important homework, is considerations around how do you begin to choose your product. So that's it for part 2, and I hope you'll join me for part 3. See you on the other side.